civilizations that built upon key locations, apparently known about by the Italians, but by whom remains a mystery. The chronological dating of Rome's foundation to the 8th century BC is sheer nonsense. Higgins claimed the first 3 centuries of Rome's history is astrotheological, not actual. Grant called the history of the monarchs from Tarquinii at Rome a fraudulent, chauvinistic story. On the following page, he claimed the form in which the story came down to us contains legendary and unacceptable details, and he suspected that it was the sort of story that was told in order to avoid the suggestion that a foreigner forcefully conquered Rome. However, he was of the opinion that the major details of Rome's Etruscan dynasty were still convincing on account of the archaeological finds, and that Rome became Etruscanized and urbanized around 616 BC, which lines up with the supposed dating of the Etruscan Empire's greatness. There are no dwellings left to demonstrate how the Etruscans at Tarquinii lived, a characteristic shared with other Etruscan cities, likely because their homes were wooden. The stone edifices were usually temples, walls, or fortresses. There are walls remaining that indicate the location had a circumference of 5 miles, and the remains of a temple also exist on site. Beyond these details, much of what we know is based on the findings from their tombs and the way they buried their dead. Think about your way of life. Could someone account for its history by visiting your town's cemetery? I should hope not, but this is what scholars have available. There is only one class of people that can afford tombs, and some of those wealthy elite tombs aren't even Etruscan people. They're wealthy merchants and nobility from other cultures. It'd be akin to interpreting the history of America by visiting a mausoleum in Beverly Hills 300 years after the Constitution of the United States was written. The Bokhara's tomb got its name from the imported objects from the east, one of which was a glass paste jar bearing the name of the Egyptian pharaoh Bokharis, which allegedly means constant is the spirit of Re, who ruled from about 730 to 715 BC. But it may be a forgery or an imitation of an Egyptian original, made at a later date by Phoenicians, according to Grant, because a similar example was found in Motia, Sicily. If they aren't imitations, then they are evidence of cultural diffusion. Why would anyone want to be buried with something glorifying a foreign king, unless the tomb belonged to a foreigner, or the king was not a foreigner?